Hello. A very warm welcome everyone on Indigenous Liberation Day on October 12th. You're today at Pakhuis de Zwijger, also on behalf of Indigenous Liberation Movement, a coalition of indigenous diaspora and solidarity organizations. My name is Max and this is...
Ciao.
And today we are your hosts, so we will be moderating today in the main room, and we will have different programs. But before we start with that, I want to ask the people from our Indigenous Liberation movement to come forward with the banner of Cesar Tacuba, to come on stage, and give them a warm round of applause. So these are the people from Washikwa, Free West Papua Campaign, Tribes Movement, Awerukana, Nederlands Centrum voor Inheemse Volkeren, and Arales. And today was also supported by Milieudefensie, Pakhuis de Zwijger, Nieuwwij, and Fonds voor Creatieve Industrie. So thank you all for making this day possible. So while they're holding the banner, which is also why we're here, Chatelea, I'm going to ask you, why are we here?
Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Today is a very important day, an historical day, because we're going to flip the coin. We're not going to celebrate Columbus. We're going to celebrate liberation. And liberation comes from the heart. That comes from the feeling that you need to be liberated. Liberated from the pain done by the colonizers. Liberated from the intergenerational trauma. Liberated from the things that happened to our ancestors. So it's up to us to start the journey to explore, not even tonight, but for the rest of our lives, what means liberation and to whom, what means people. So it's up to us to find out today, together with all of you, the sense of being liberated. So we're going to have 2 days. So first of all, tonight. So thank you all for being here. And the next one is Saturday. So Saturday we're going to walk, we're going to march, we're going to shout, we're going to mourn, we're going to feel all united, and we're going to heal. We're going to find justice. Justice through the 1492 People's Tribunal. And we're going to do a ceremony. And for all of that, it's like doing it in a collective way. So we need all of you. So you need to feel invited to ask your friends, to ask your family to join us, because it's not up to us to heal by ourselves. No, it's the sharing that is so important for the healing part. So please join, use your social media, use your Facebook, use your Instagram, find out how you can support us. And also in terms of fundraising, of course, it's about supporting indigenous peoples, and how are we going to do that? So let's do this tonight. I think I said it all. Just have a check.
Yes, and it's at Dam Square at 2 this Saturday. That's important. And we will walk from the Dam Square to Java. You see the route here behind, and you can follow the updates on Facebook or Instagram via Stichting Arales or Indigenous Liberation Movement.
I forgot something.
Yes.
The team, Land Back.
Yes.
Land Back. So that is what we wanted to do also, to deliberate about it, what means Land Back in relation to the Doctrine of Discovery, which you are going to explain later. But Land Back is one of the essentials of the whole reparation part. So it's really something that is so attached to us, people and land. I am called Mapuche. Mapu means earth, Che means people. So Land Back is something for us to explore. What does it mean, Land Back, for tonight?
Yes. So we prepared together with Indigenous Liberation Movement a small opening statement, after which we want 1 minute of silence for everything that is happening and has happened in our history. So we chose this year's theme of Land Back because the lack of respect of land rights of indigenous peoples across the globe. This being one of the most pressuring issues, especially in relation to the right to self-determination. The majority of indigenous peoples across the globe, with more than 6,500 languages spoken, are still struggling for their rights today. Already in 1493, 1 year after Columbus started the invasion and colonization of Abya Yala, the American continent, the Pope justified land theft through a papal bull that introduced the so-called Doctrine of Discovery. This became the infamous legal foundation for colonization. This infamous legal doctrine stated that the lands that were not inhabited or put in use yet by European or Christian societies could now be taken over by the Spanish and Portuguese forces. This dehumanization of indigenous peoples meant that they could not legally be entitled anymore as owners of the land. This dehumanization process was legitimized through institutionalized racism, where it was argued that indigenous people had either no soul, could thus be slaughtered without any legal consequence, or, on the other hand, it was argued that indigenous people should forcefully be brought into Christianity as they were deemed uncivilized savages. This debate marked the beginning of institutionalized racism, the same racism that then afterwards continued to legitimize colonialism, slavery, genocide towards indigenous, and not only indigenous people, but also black people and people of color across the globe for the centuries to follow. This legal doctrine has led to the largest scale genocide ever known to human history. About 175 million indigenous people have died between 1492 and 1900 on the American continent as a consequence of wars, genocide, enslavement, deportations, mass ecocide, and newly introduced diseases that would fester because of societal collapse, making indigenous people becoming a minority in every country in Abya Yala except for Bolivia. Let that sink in. Although technically speaking, indigenous people are now considered humans in today's laws, the majority of states and European governments still do not recognize, respect, or uphold their land rights. In other words, maintaining this racist and colonial legacy. According to Land Rights Now, only about 10% of indigenous peoples in the Global South have formal recognition of land ownership, which is why we see that in the vast majorities of cases, land is sold without their consent. Finally, when indigenous peoples decide to resist this land theft or destruction of their environment and Mother Earth, which is closely connected to capitalism, they are killed, intimidated, tortured, disappeared, and often framed as terrorists. This framing does not only account for the legitimate Palestinian liberation movement, we see this happening to indigenous communities across the world, from Suriname to the Philippines to Colombia to Chile, Nigeria, West Papua, the Moluccan Islands, or anywhere in the world. And this is why today we would like to stand in firm solidarity with the indigenous peoples across the globe as they defend and protect their ancestral lands, holding 80% of the world's biodiversity. They are the caretakers of Earth. Being in solidarity with them is crucial if we wish to maintain the cycle of life and live in reciprocity and harmony with Mother Earth. This is why we would like to ask you to have 1 minute of silence for the genocides of the past and the genocides that continue to this day, for the ongoing theft of land and looting of natural resources. We stand in silence with all the martyrs and ancestors that came before us and those who have passed away recently. Thank you. Yatinyanya will now perform a song for us called 500 Years. Thank you. I think the music will speak for itself.
Achilanaka, Ahuichanaka, Koyonaka, Tachpachanitaki. 5 eeuwen. Wij zijn nog steeds aanwezig met muziekinstrumenten. Onze werken, de cóndor vliegt nog. Pachamama, muchas gracias. Con esa la hoja sagrada que representa a los pueblos indígenas. La hoja milenaria, la coca. Dank u wel.
Gracias. Thank you so much. And yes, we are alive. Can I have a big applause again? We are still alive. We represent the condor. We represent the colibri. We represent the eagle. And we are flying. And nothing will hold us back. So, I want you to introduce to someone. And it was a long journey finding her. It took us really months. We were looking for someone. Because I think, and we all think, that it's time for Indigenous female leadership. Leadership guided by love, with a sense of harmony. Leadership that is really like the roadmap for the cosmovision. Leadership that will help us find our way back and maybe explore the journey for liberation. But it's not only about leadership or Indigenous female leadership, it's also about youngsters, young people, making sure we pave the way for young people. So this was my assignment for this summer. And I was really looking for that someone who can represent that idea, someone who can make sure that she is there helping us. Because who says that we are helping her? Maybe she's helping us. So for us, it's also this exchange, the importance of exchange things, like the energy. We call it Nguyen. And I think now, for me, having someone from Abya Yala, it makes me so proud. And I see you now, I'm looking at you, it makes me so incredibly proud that we have found her. And she is a descendant from the Lokono and Kalinya tribe. And her name, and I don't know if I pronounce it well, is Ikihi. It means fire. Well, if someone calls you fire, there should be something in there that is really representing fire. So she is so much more than I can possibly introduce to you now. She's called now an entrepreneur. She's called a teacher. She's a social worker. She's a speaker. She's a sister. She is a daughter. And she's connected to many things. And she's connected to Native Power, to the Kosa Foundation. And in her work, she also recognized the voice of the youth. So I think for us, it's really nice to have her here, to make sure that we understand some sense of what she's saying to us. And it's wisdom. So please, join us. Charmaine, artist from Abya Yala.
And when she's coming up, also give one more applause for Yatinyanya. So much, thank you.
Right now, I want you to think of the forest, of the Amazon, of the birds, of the jaguar, and close your eyes. And think of rainfall, waterfalls. This is where I came from This is where I belong to. The place where my ancestors have been hunting, fishing, baiting, and farming, and so much more for many, many, and many years. This is the place where we as indigenous people have a spiritual bonding with. Dei irito, Sherman artist. Deito Surinamam kondo. Au yetamam Sherman artist. Au Surinama bono awa. My name is Sherman Artist, and I'm a descendant from the Lokono and the Kalinya tribe from Suriname. If we look around the world, then if we look at the areas and the places where the indigenous people live, then we can see that these places are the most or the best and great looking places of the whole world. They are the most preserved areas of the world. But it's thanks to the way of how we are living, the sustainable life, the fact of how we actually treat our nature, and the respect that we have for every living being. And this is also the case in Suriname. The areas and the places where the indigenous people and the tribal people live are the most preserved places in Suriname. And now, Surinamese people can say, and they can proudly say, Suriname, the world's most forested country on earth. 93% forest. But it's because of us as indigenous and also the tribal folks that they can proudly now make that statement. Today, I am here because I am fighting for the future of the next generation of Suriname, and especially the indigenous children and youths. And I just don't say it like that, the future of Suriname's next generation. It is because it's the truth. If we don't respect our future, our nature, we will never have a future. Since 1492, when the Spaniards have conquered Suriname, we as indigenous people have been facing injustice. Then, in the 1615, the Englishmen came and they took over Suriname. And then, the Dutchmen came and they also took over Suriname. But our situation as indigenous people remained the same. We were deprived from our lands, our inhabitants were destroyed, and we were made slaves, and we were forced to work on the plantations. Genocide took place. But we fought, and we fought until the bitter end for freedom. And 11 years later, it was agreed that the labor of the indigenous people and the indigenous population would no longer be used on the plantations. But in 1975, Suriname became independent. So now, or then, we were free. We were a free country. And guess what? Guess what happened to the indigenous people? Yes, we are still in the same situation. Today, 12th of October 2023, we still remain in the same situation. Governments come, governments go, governments come, and government go. It is sad, but it's a feeling of disappointment and shame that every government we had since the independence of Suriname had let us as indigenous people down. They have promised policies that would lead us into a great sustainable future, but their actions never reflected their words. And we as indigenous people make 4% of the total population of Suriname. And according to the last census, that is about 20,000 persons. But even though we make 4% of the total population, we have managed to protect our forests, and we are still here. In 2016, the state of Suriname was reprimanded by the Inter-American Court of Human Rights because of not properly arranging the legal recognition of the land rights of the indigenous people. It looks like they have never heard of the Lokono and the Kalinia lawsuit. And until today, we face continuous displacement, land loss, ecosystem destruction through mining, illegal mining, and river pollution, that actually contamination of deadly chemicals. And if we can believe the last news, Mennonites were given permission to lands of the indigenous people. In May this year, we have lost 2 brothers. And actually, they were killed by the police. And these brothers stood up for our rights because they could no longer bear how they are being deprived from their ancestral lands, and it is given away to third parties. And we still have some brothers in detention, and there's still an investigation going. But there is no clarification about the process. But besides all this, we also have a lot of problem in our communities. No access to follow-up education, no or lack of electricity, little to no access to clean drinking water, inadequate sanitation, inadequate health care, poor public transportation, poor infrastructure, very pricey products in our villages, poor communication traffic. So we are living under worse conditions than the average Surinamese population. And we as indigenous people, we can't separate ourselves from nature because that is who we are. It is unacceptable that our own government has done nothing for us. We have put our trust in them, and they should be ashamed. We have given our government enough time, and now there is no more time left to give. if they aren't willing to lead us into the future where we are proud to leave our children, and then I will say something that will maybe be harsh, but then they should get out of our way and let us live in peace. We, as humans, are the only species on this planet that has the capability and the privilege to decide not to disappear. And I have not come here to beg my government. They have ignored us in the past, and they will ignore us again. I have come here to let you know that a change is coming. Knowledge surrounding indigenous rights, especially fundamental rights, can be improved. And one important thing is to create awareness among our communities and how to exercise them. And the focus is on women and young people. Female leadership is important because we women, we are great agents of change. Women's participation in decision-making process is important for the decolonial struggle. And the young people, we also need them because they are the leaders of tomorrow. And we need to create stronger leaders. Leaders that can understand us. Leaders that can stand up for their fundamental rights and become more involved in community development. But we need education programs, we need workshops, and we need tools for this. I will keep fighting and working and do everything that I can for my people. But I can't do this alone. I need your help. Not recognizing our rights as indigenous people means not recognizing us, means that you don't see us, you don't respect us, you don't respect our culture. And today, I want to reach my hand to you. And if you are human, and if you feel the same way, I want you to stand up right now. I want you to make this fist. I am here, you are there. We are all humans. We and the future that we have, the future that we are looking for, the future that we want to have for our next generation, is that what we create. So please help. And today, if I hope this means, like, it means a lot to me. I hope this means a lot to you guys too. And I hope today when you are leaving this building, you say, no, I will help and I will donate and I will help the people of Suriname. So thank you.
Thank you, Charmaine.
Wow,
Give one more round of applause, please.
Applause. Thank you so much.
We want to ask someone forward as well, because Charmaine named 2 killings. I mean, come both back on the stage. Because something happened last year, and I don't think everyone knows. And you mentioned 2 people were killed. And I know Amsterdam is sometimes a village. And of course, the Netherlands have a special connection to Suriname because of the history. So we happen to also actually run up to one of the family members. Maybe you can introduce yourself and also mention the names that were mentioned in Jermaine's word.
Goedenavond iedereen. Mijn naam is Gerald Wolfjager. Mijn inheemse naam is Morutawera. Heel belangrijk om te zeggen.
So to mention the names of the people.
Yes, oké. Degene, Charmaine net, sprak daarover. Dat was een gebeurtenis op 2 mei in Pikinsaron. Dat waren twee hele brave, moet ik zeggen. En ik ben very brave, dappere inheemse mannen. Dus hun namen waren Martinus Kruyenape Wolfjager, broertje van mijn vader, mijn oom. En de andere was Ivanildo Dijkstil. Hun hebben hun leven gegeven, ze hebben zich opgeofferd voor ons volk. En ja, in mijn ogen zijn ze erg legendary, helden. En alsjeblieft, laat dat niet voor niks zijn geweest. Dat is wat door mijn hoofd heen gaat. Ik wil niet dat het voor niks is geweest. Ik hoop dat iedereen zijn ogen open gaat. Ja. Deze mannen zijn helden van kleine kinderen, kleuterschool, basisschool. Hun namen mogen nooit vergeten worden. En dat is wat wij kunnen doen. Wij zijn hier nog. Onze ogen zijn geopend en wij kunnen er wat aan doen. We hebben een hart die klopt. En laat ons hart spreken. Laat wat doen. En, net wat Charmaine heeft gezegd, deze dappere, sterke dame. In ons taal noemen we dat Jaja Uma, power woman. De dingen die zij net zei, heeft ze niet uit de duim gezogen. Totaal niet. Deze sterke vrouw, jullie hebben het zelf gehoord, dus ik hou het kort. Dat was het.
Okay. Misschien de QR-code. En misschien, we gaan een... Oh ja, English. Because going back to Dutch. Did you speak Dutch or English?
Yeah.
English, okay.
Shall I
sorry.
explain the 80-20?
Yes, and maybe before we go into that, because we're going to show a QR code, and maybe Charmaine, because this fundraise is also going to be for your work that you're doing, that you can explain a little bit, and then, or you want to first explain the 80-20 campaign, and then you can also share what you want to do with it. Yeah.
Because this is the hard part, the fundraise.
Yes.
So, we're going to lock the doors. You are not going anywhere. And I will be hard, because this is now me speaking. And I really want to make sure that she won't leave the country without your money. And why I'm saying this is that she mentioned 4%. That means that the other percent was killed. And who were the colonizers? Tell me. Who were the colonizers of Suriname? Thank you. Say again. Who did this? So when we talk about reparations, we're going to do it. Thank you. And you have the invitation. You have the privilege to start this, to make sure we're going to do the reparations, to make sure that we are the first believers of actually giving back. So it's now up to us. And I'm going to say it because it's hard being a victim and then asking for money. No, that's not how we're going to do it. So it's up to you to spread the message. It's up to you to mention this campaign. It's not up to her. It's up to you. So we're going to lock the doors. And I won't start before we're going to have some money. So please, open your phone. And I want to see all the phones now, in the air. Open your phone and scan the QR code now. And you know what she did? She told about the ambition, she told about the cosmovision, she told all about it. I don't see any phones here. So I'm going to talk and we're going to analyze the first wave of the reciprocity. We're going to analyze the first wave of reciprocity. So we're going to stop this program for 1 minute and we're going to find out. My mic is not working. I think they say shut up. So, okay, that's better. So it's always a challenge to fundraise. But I'm feeling very comfortable. I don't know why. Because it's for Mother Earth. It's not for me. Definitely not for me. It's for the ecosystems, it's for the plants, it's for the trees, it's for all that is breathing. It's for life. So let us see if there's anyone from the technique. Can we say us something? How much did we raise now so far? Is there anything?
So far, because we set a goal, which is to raise 10,000, and the crowd fund will continue till the 10th of January. So we will sit here till the 10th of January. No. So it's still the 10th of January. That's the date that was mentioned in the speech, which was the peace treaty that was broken. So up until that time, besides what you donate today, there's going to be flyers at the market stands that you can bring with you, where you can bring this QR code with you as well. So until the 10th of January, we're going to be fundraising.
Yeah.
Let's say, I mean, you can...
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I'm going to try it in English, but my English is not so good.
Oh, you're doing great.
But I'm witness that everybody put his hand in the air, not like this, you know. It's not a Dutch song. Not iedereen hand omhoog. No, it was the fist. Everybody was put his fist in the air.
That means something.
So that means something.
Yeah.
So don't disappoint us, people. Don't disappoint us. Come on, man. Come on.
And the funny thing is now, how much did we raise? Sorry, I didn't mention. It was like 1% now?
No, man, 150 euro. That's not enough. Come on,
I mean, to be honest, less than 1% of all the financials for the climate solutions goes to indigenous peoples. So when we talk about climate solutions, and you consider 80% reprotect, and we get less than 1%, how are we going to call this? Racism. Just systemic racism. Gierig, I heard. Gierig, that is also something. Greedy. So we are now at the 1%. So this is, I mean, we can continue the program, but we should. But I'm not convinced that the fist was actually a fist. Or are we still convinced? Can you check? We just have one check. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just doing the fundraise. Sorry, not sorry.
I think that it needs update.
Oh, okay.
I think it's not updating very quickly. So what we're going to do is we're going to assume you've been donating, and you can still donate during the break when we go to the new rooms. And we're going to check when we move back to this room where we stand. Yeah. And we will hold you accountable and see where we are by then. All right? For the final words, maybe Charmaine, you can share how you also want to use to support the youth, because you have analyzing a lot, of course, what has been going on, but maybe you can also share what the donations and what people, when they, step into fundraising for you, what you will be able to do with it. Yeah.
Okay, so this will be more for, as I already mentioned, for the young people and for female leadership, to create awareness, to have programs, workshops, and tools, because it's important that they know about the rights of the indigenous peoples. There's actually so much, and with all the money that you will donate, we can like save Suriname and save the indigenous people, but we can start saving them. It should be more like educational programs for the youths and female leadership programs where other female leaders will learn the next generation how to lead their own communities. It is important that they do not forget where they came from. So our culture, our traditions, everything that we can include to help our people will be actually put into this program so that we can make stronger leaders. But also it is important because we as young people, we mostly don't have a voice to speak. But with this program, I want to be the voice of the youth. And it will not only be me, but we will create like of every villages that we have in Suriname, because we have like 52 villages in Suriname, to create a platform for young leaders in these communities. And if we have the voice with the platform, we can be more acquainted with decision making and to help our leaders. So that's a little bit about what I want to help create.
Thank you. Give a warm applause for both Jero and Shamena. So because of time, we have to move into our rooms. So if I can have in the back of me the different floors and rooms and programs so people know. I saw some of you signed up for 2 different programs. You have to choose one. I'm sorry, you cannot split yourself. They're happening at the same time. I saw everything was sold out because everyone wanted to go everywhere. So you have to choose now. On the 5th floor, so that's the top floor, there's 2 programs. One in the studio about decolonizing agriculture and our relationship to land, water, and food. That's in the studio on the 5th floor. In the IJzaal, we have defending the earth defenders in solidarity with frontline communities. That's in the IJzaal. And on the 2nd floor, this floor, if you remain here, the Indigenous Dreams Expo will be in this room. And in the next room here, in the workspace, there will be the program which is in Dutch. So for Dutch-speaking people, you can go there. Verboden cultuur, herstel van culturele identiteit, about forbidden cultures and what can we do to preserve cultures also in Amsterdam in diaspora. I'm going to say something about the time because we walked out with time, but you want one final remark?
One update. We had almost 100 donations. So not yet, but almost. So how many people are here now? Just check. I don't think we have covered it all. Just saying. Okay, enjoy your program.
Wait, for the time, before you go, because we, let's say we start 10 past 9, and we return back 10 past 10 here, right? So just for the workshop facilitators that they know. Everything moves 10 minutes. All right. So, welcome back, everyone. We had an idea, while people are still coming back from their rooms, we actually wanted to give the floor to these 2 beautiful people who have brought with us materials, and we want to, what's veilen in het Engels? Auction. We want to auction them, and we want to really overpriced auction them. And the overpriced auction, well, part of it is going to go back to the communities, which they're going to explain where it was made, by whom it was made. But the overprice will go to the indigenous communities in Suriname, for which we are campaigning for the 80-20 campaign. But before we auction them, maybe you can introduce who you are and what you've brought with us today.
Sure. Can I speak in Dutch?
Yes, then I will translate.
Yeah, that will be a little bit easier for me because I think... Hallo, goedenavond. Mijn naam is Ramon. Ik ben Ramon Main, eigenaar van Mayeda. En Mayeda is een winkel in Suriname, zowel een winkel als een webshop in Nederland. En wat wij doen is, ik ben onderdeel van de Maron-gemeenschap in Suriname. Heb ik trouwens een beperkte tijd?
I mean, it's not a lecture, like, yeah, it's beperkt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ik ben onderdeel van de Maron-gemeenschap in Suriname. Ik ben zelf van Samaka afkomst, maar eigenlijk hou ik het vooral bij Maron, omdat ik dat belangrijker vind. Wat je vaak ziet is dat de Maron in Suriname heel veel creativiteit en kunst en cultuur bezit. Alleen hebben ze niet altijd toegang tot de markt om hun kunst en hun creativiteit te exploiteren. Vaak wordt het gebruikt door andere mensen. En dat is een van de redenen, een van onze missies als Mayeda, om de kunst van de Maron tentoon te stellen aan de wereld, zodat mensen kunnen profiteren van hun eigen kunst en hun creativiteit. Ik heb hier een bank bij me. Dit is een typisch bank wat je kan vinden in een Maron huishouden. Voor de mensen die niet weten wat het is. De bedoeling is dat het zo in huis zit. En je kan er eigenlijk zo op zitten. Mocht je een bijzonder bezoek krijgen van een Maron en je zet zo'n bank neer, nou geloof mij, die persoon voelt zichzelf extreem gewaardeerd en gerespecteerd, omdat dit echt een heel bijzonder ding is. Het is met de hand gemaakt. Alles wat je erop ziet is dus één iemand gemaakt, waardoor dit uniek is. Er bestaat geen tweede hiervan. Dank je wel.
Thank you. So I will shortly translate. This Ramon Main, he started specifically to work with Maroon communities who are making arts and crafts. And usually they don't have access to markets. And people just take and appropriate, I guess, their crafts. And he wanted to change this by making sure to directly sell the products that they make themselves. So they can be self-sufficient in that way. And what he's today presenting is a bench, which is a typical Maroon bench. It's a unique bench. It's an art. So this is the only one that you find like this. It's it's a unique artwork, this bench. And if
Show
you have
how
this
you can
one,
sit, because
oh yeah,
of course.
that was part of the presentation. And really, it's impressive. Like, I mean, I'm up close in terms of the artwork, and it's really, if you're organizing resistance and you want to work together with the Maroon communities, and you have this bench, you can invite them over and plot against the colonizer, maybe.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Yes, let's present Jorge. And then we're going to start the filing, which was the English word I forgot. Auction.
Hi, ik ben Jorge vanuit Colombia. Samen met mijn vriendin, we zijn allebei geadopteerd.
If you can speak English, that saves translation. But if you like to speak Dutch... Okay.
Wij zijn allebei geadopteerd, we zijn allebei inheems. Zij is Arhuaco. Ik ben Inga uit Zuid-Colombia. En wij ondersteunen 9 inheemse stammen, waarvan 7 in Colombia en 2 in Brazilië. Met een handgemaakte handwerk en kunst. Om ze een beter leven te geven en ook hun geschiedenis de wereld te laten bekennen. En ik heb hier 2 items. Eén item is van de Inga's. Dat is een chumbe. Dat is een maagmoederband. Dat beschermt tegen straling. En dat is eigenlijk elke vrouw en kinderen worden erin gewikkeld. Hij is uniek. En van de stam van mijn vriendin heb ik een tas, een Arhuaco-tas. Dat is gemaakt en die representeert de man. Dus alles is uniek en handgemaakt. Dus wie weet voor wie die komt.
Oh, okay. I do the translation. Yeah. His name is Jorge, and together with his friend Juliana, they are both having a background in adoption. They are both from indigenous background. Can you just name the 2 indigenous?
Inga's
from Putumayo.
And Arhuaco from Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta.
Arhuaco from Sierra, and my Spanish is not so good.
Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta.
We don't like Spanish names. It should have been named something else. Fuck that. All right. So these are both, again, uniquely crafted. And one of is to protect the womb of women. And it's also wrapped during afterbirth, I guess, not during. For children, to protect them, I guess, their energies. Yeah, you said it protects for radiation.
Yeah. And all signs of the nature is in the band.
And there's signs of nature in the band. And these are also uniquely crafted. And this is more for feminine People, and this is for men. And this is also uniquely crafted by which group?
De Arhuaco.
Arhuaco. Yes. So we have these. Ciao, you're good at this part, so
Okay.
now we're going to do the English word thing.
Okay, so I also forget the English word. So we are not that capitalist persons, I guess. But we need to... Oh, no, we need, but it's actually maybe a good item. So who wants to give the first one? So who wants to have this one? And it's typical an auction?
It starts with 125 euros minimum. Minimum. I mean, we're not
Minimum.
exploiting labor here, right? We
No.
get paid what
This
per
is
hour?
really
They're
the
gonna get
climate
paid the same.
justice, the social justice. So 125 is the start. So who wants to give more? Who wants to give more to this? And the other one?
You know what? I'm giving 150. Don't make me go home broke. Otherwise, I'm going to buy all three
Hoeveel?
and I'm broke, you know? So
19,50?
150. Who's
Sorry,
going to go
zei
over
niet?
it?
85. Okay, this is 85 euros. That's the normal price. So I know you are now sitting there from, what is she asking now? But it's actually a nice one. I can guarantee you that. Okay, so we know the prices of this. So who wants to have this? Who wants to start with 85 euros? No. 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 Yes. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Leo. This is really nice. And I know when it comes to solidarity, it's really always the best friends you can have. And thank you, Leo. Okay. So we have now 85.
85, 150, and we have here 150 start for the bench.
For the bench,
Who wants to
150?
plot against the colonizer?
Okay. 150. I know this is making you uncomfortable, but I mean, this is also something that we need to learn to feel uncomfortable and still get something. So 150.
I see someone in the back, 150.
150? 150. There is one. 150. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So we're
But
going
this
to do
is
one.
sad. I mean, there are meals here. Does not anyone want to have this? How much was it?
150 now.
150. So is there anyone? I mean, this is actually a nice one. I really wanted to have this one. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Maybe you can. Can you give a nice? Okay, how do you wear it? Because you were also in Colombia, right?
Yeah, with the Arhuaco.
Can you say why this is important for you to see this?
Yeah, because every piece they make, it is unique, and you always see the woman do it. It's really like a meditation. So the mothers learn it to their children as well, and the fathers, they have other things that they share for meditation. But this is, the elder people, they give them some information, and that is what they put in the bag. So that you said that this is the man thing. Sometimes it's water, sometimes it's, but it's always a message in the
But this represents the
patterns.
man.
Yeah.
This bag, only this bag.
And they wear it like the moms. They sometimes wear it like this on the heads also. And they put like leaves, or when we would go for avocados, we would walk 3 hours, and then the young guy, he gets them, you know, and the avocados fall, and then we put it in, and this is how we brought it home. So that was really an empowering moment, because you get your own food, you know, and you bring it home and you share it. So it's a really interesting, beautiful.
Okay, so let me remind you of this day. And let me remind you of the colonial history of the Netherlands. So I'm going to ask you again. Who wants to have this? Do I see a hand? Do I see a hand? Who wants to have this? Yeah!
160. There you go.
That's so nice! Can
All
you
right.
please?
Final offer. Does someone go higher, or is it 160? This is the thing, right?
Yeah, dit is de ding.
Yeah. Yeah. So otherwise, eenmaal, andermaal. That's how it goes, right? Eenmaal, andermaal.
Okay, I
Verkocht.
think it's
Yes.
sold.
You
It's
can
sold.
applaud.
It's sold.
It's sold.
It's sold. So you had great business, right? Great business.
All right.
But
Thank
we are
you so
not there
much.
yet. We are not there
So
yet.
final offer we had. This one was 85. Was it said? What did you offer?
85. Yeah.
85. Does anyone want to go higher than 85?
And that's really cheap, eh?
That's a cheap
really
one.
cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually cheap because I know this also from my mother. She is not going
It's a
to
lot of
give that
work.
away for 85. I know that for guaranteed.
All right, then.
Did I saw hands?
Andermaal. All right.
No? Okay, so this is also salt. Okay,
Applaud.
I need to tell you a story about your community because maybe that's also helpful.
You can find him
It was
later.
in Haiti. So you were based in Suriname. Well, yeah. Okay. So in Haiti there was this woman, and she was pregnant, and she was still in resistance, and she was fighting not only for her child, but fighting for the liberation of all. So Napoleon was a little bit too strong, and of course he said, no, they all need to be executed because they were former enslaved people, they run away, and they need to be punished. So they executed all. She was allowed to give birth because she was that pregnant. She was allowed to give birth, but after delivering the baby, she needed to be executed as well. Her name is Solitude. And it's actually a story that was hidden for a very long time. So I wanted to remind you about the history of the Netherlands, about enslavement, and people were actually pregnant during that time. People lost babies during that time. Motherhood was being taken away. So I'm standing here to this guy, and he asked politely to buy art craft. So we are not running away from history, right? We are not running away. So I do want to see one hand.
We have one hand, but you want the higher hand apparently, right? That's the eenmaal andermaal. We had 150
eenmaal
in the back.
andermaal.
So
Who
is
wants to give
it
the
an
other?
eenmaal andermaal? 150? Is someone else want to shout something else? No, that was the same hand. Oh, there's another hand. 175.
Thank you.
Okay, there goes the eenmaal andermaal. Is
Thank
there
you.
more?
Another one.
All right. People want to
Okay.
dance. I think people want to go to the next part of
Okay.
the program. Yes.
We did it. Thank you so much. We did it. It was awkward. It was horrible, but we did it. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Who was for the band?
So you can find them in the shop. They are there in the back. You can fix your business there. Thank you both.
Yeah,
and,
thank you so much.
Applaud for them.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you can go. And then, what's the dance?
We're going to go to a very, very short, we are a bit over time. We had an ungeplande auction. So I want to ask the people from the breakout session, Chihiro and Charlene, if they're here, to share a very short reflection from their breakouts. Please give them a warm applause. They have been moderating and facilitating. And Mia, of course, or someone else. You can choose Indigenous drinks, yeah. Yeah, die neem je mee. So the person who wanted to buy the bench, find Ramon in the back. Yes. All right, so can you share with us what was your session about? And yeah, what would you want to share with us? Because not everyone was in every room.
Sure thing. Hi, everyone. Can we get the pictures up of Indigenous Dreams? Our workshop was based on Indigenous dreaming, and that liberation requires imagination. And with all the people in the workshop, we broke into little groups to think of little baby steps towards Indigenous self-determination. And the result, I can keep it very short, is right in front of you here. This is the roadmap to sovereignty. So if you want to take a look later, or there are pictures of it as well. But there's one particular step towards sovereignty that the group came up with that to me spoke really, it spoke out, and I want to give you the opportunity to speak to it.
I come from India, north part of India. And in 15th century, we had very strong anti-caste movement. Like it's very, very long, but in 15th century, there was one person, anti-caste spiritual leader, and he gave the word called Begampura, which is the mix of Persian, Arabic, multiple languages in one word. And the meaning of the word is, literal meaning is on internet is a space or a place without any state, without any class, without any caste. Wow.
That's beautiful.
So I found this word almost 600 years old, but very, very much, applicable in today's society. So that's the meaning of sovereignty for me. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, thank you.
And if you want to learn more about Indigenous Dreams, you see the pictures up. It's an exhibition that is downstairs in the bar. Each of these 6 people have shared their ideas of Indigenous sovereignty. Richard from Auron is from India, from an Adivasi community. We should note that there's 100 million indigenous people in India, so 1 out of 4 people in the world that is indigenous is almost from India, and we know so little about it. So please do check out their stories, learn. We also have a magazine in Dutch that is available there. And yeah, just please enjoy it. It will be up for a month, and that's it. Website. Oh, yes, of course. So that's Mia, the photographer of this amazing project. Please give it up. Mia rightly said we launched a website, indigenousdreams.nl, in which, ironically, you will find all of these interviews in English. And then the Dutch one is printed in the magazine and are available here. So thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the dreams.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that prophecy as well. Sounded like the end of capitalism. And
T-shirts.
T-shirts. I think we have to because of time, but
okay.
But I want to go to Charlene first, and then
yeah.
we save time for the T-shirt. Yeah. Oh yeah, you need a mic. Sorry.
Easier with a mic. Thank you, Max.
It's getting late.
I'm going to keep it very short. I'm going to do it in Dutch as well, because my session was in Dutch. And my session was about, mijn sessie ging over verboden culturen, herstel van culturele identiteiten. We hadden een hele mooie...
Reparations of cultural identities.
Ja, van een hele mooie groep aanwezig. Want we hadden een mooie panel vanuit de Surinaamse inheemse gemeenschap, de Maron-gemeenschap en de Amazigh-gemeenschap vanuit het Arabisch gedeelte Marokko, waar we enorm veel van hebben geleerd. Vraag was om de tafels heen, hoe kunnen we cultuurbehoud behouden in Nederland, in Amsterdam bijvoorbeeld. We hadden het over een culturele inburgeringscursus. We moeten cultuur veel zichtbaarder maken. We moeten beginnen vanaf de basisschool met veel meer culturele inzichten. Dat zou moeten komen in het curriculum. We hadden het zelfs over eten verbindt. Eten, dat kan veel losmaken. Cultuurscholen, immersion schools. Hebben jullie er wel eens van gehoord? Immersion schools. Een heel mooi tool om cultuur over te dragen. Dus dat zouden we zeker kunnen beginnen. Maar het mooie was ook dat we het hebben gehad over alpha-kinderen. Hoe kunnen we de kinderen van vandaag die zich bezighouden richting AI en de technologie van vandaag, hoe kunnen we dat combineren om de culturen te behouden? Maar daar zien we zeker een weg in. Dus het wordt een toekomst van alpha-kinderen die ook de cultuur gaan behouden.
Thank you. I'm going to do the short version translation. So it was about preserving cultures in the Dutch, Amsterdam, Netherlands setting. How can we do that? And some of the things they came up with was doing it in schools or making own schools of culture. Using digital technology was one of the last suggestions, AI or apps, these kind of things, so you can preserve things like language. Did I miss some of the idea initiatives? And the food, using food as well as a means for conversation and keeping culture alive. Thank you, Charlene, and applaud for everyone that participated in this workshop. Ciao. Can you share a few insights from your workshop?
First, I want to say that there are T-shirts.
Not done selling? Can we keep it short, this one?
Yeah, but I get so many assignments from people. I need to say this and I need to say that. So that's really hard for me because I can't prioritize. But about our session, it was really nice because I really felt that people were listening to the people who were asking for support. I heard many things about political support for Caesar. Then it was Germaine. Germaine was really talking to others, and I think that she said it was the nicest group she had, because there were like people helping her out, making sure that she was on track. And then the last one from Daniel, I heard that Daniel was also satisfied, kind of. So it was really good to see that climate justice, or how do you say it?
Dissatisfied with what?
With the support. So they were really talking to each other. So that was my wrap up.
All right. Thank you for sharing. And I know with Daniel's case, he's a political refugee, and his political status is not recognized in the Netherlands because supposedly it's a safe country, and he had to survive a lot to be here. So there's also a website where you can find support. And I know Jorge was just here. You can find also more information through him, and Daniel's also there. I think our refugee policies are kind of, again, racist. So we hope we can find more support for Daniel's case as well. Yes,
okay.
Thank you.
So now I see a lot of pictures, memories already. We started a couple of years ago together with a small group of people, the first believers. Indigenous Liberation, what does it mean? So Saturday we're going to march again, and we need all of you. So it's not about being there, but it's also about shouting. It's about protecting. And a lot of children will be walking at the front. So that means like 8-year-old ones, 7-year-old ones, and they need some support. So please join us all for the Saturday one, and there will be a trial. So there will be also a colonial entities being trialed. This was like also one of them, a memory. So I really want you to feel invited to join and to make sure that 12th of October is being closed with an amazing memory of having justice and liberation.
Thank you. All right, then we go to the final part. Don't worry, we're done talking. I mean, we're going to communicate, but in a different way. Yes, you can applaud already, if you like. So I want to ask for Mabika's foundation, cultural foundation from Philippines, Cordillera region, who work with, amongst other, Igorot indigenous peoples. And please give them a warm welcome, and they're going to share with us a dance and explain in a bit as well. And maybe before we start, Mira, if you can shortly give some context and maybe if there's a way that people can participate, because, you know, to keep culture alive, you got to participate in it, right? Doesn't work that way that it's, you know, distant in that sense. But can you share with us what it's going to be about?
Okay, thank you and good evening. Sorry to keep you so late, but this is the final performance and another one. So we are from Mabika's Foundation Netherlands, the indigenous people from northern Philippines. So the people who are going to dance today in front of you, we are pure indigenous people, and we are called the Igorot Cordillerans. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a 3-part performance. We call it the dance, the Igorot dance for resistance, for resilience, and restoration. So as you can see later, we will be dancing in circles, and the meaning for that is because we all come here in solidarity and in unity. Yeah, so.
wait, I think that's for percussion something, so. Wait a second.
Okay, it's not yet finished. So the next one is a dance for, the dance for, the one that you just witnessed is the dance for resilience, and then the dance for, resilience, yeah, resistance, resilience, and now is the dance for restoration. This is called the Bendian dance. It's a community dance, so I hope you could still play the rest. So while the technician is preparing the last music, this is a community dance, so men, women, young and old can participate in the dance. And this circular formation, just like how you witnessed earlier, symbolizes bountiful harvest nowadays. And all the positions also represent symbols that can be interpreted in various ways, but mainly in two ways. In the olden times, during the tribal wars, it's in the context of headhunting, but nowadays it's in the context of agricultural property, or we would say triumphantly overcoming the adversities brought about by colonialism. Yeah. So you can play the... Yeah. Yeah, that one. So the first step, pinasbukan. This one, in the context of headhunting, this position means attack and take over. And with the change of times, this position now means that we all come from the same origin and that we are all belonging to one tribe, this tribe in this room today. Salawasaw. In the context of headhunting in olden times, this position meant we are the bravest, victorious warriors. And in the modified Bendian dance nowadays, this position means praise for the good harvest that the community received, and at the same time, praise for the triumph we have for now. Kinitangan. And in the context of agricultural prosperity, this position means reliance on the God Almighty, or what we call the kabunyan. This is to guard and protect the community's crops, as well as to protect families. Kinikian. In the context of headhunting, this position means challenging the enemy. Inusyungan. In the olden times of tribal wars, this position meant the warriors are protecting the community. And in the modified Bendian dance nowadays, this position means asking our God Almighty to watch over the crops and bless us and our families. Inudian. In the context of headhunting, this position means we reverse position to confuse this enemy. The same thing as we reverse the position to confuse the colonial. Pinadyosan. Yeah. In the context of headhunting, this position symbolizes a successful head-taking. Or in the context of agricultural prosperity, it means carrying back home fortune and bountiful harvest from the fields. And last but not the least, inabaya. In the olden times, this blessing would be in the form of victory or defeated enemies. So nowadays, this dance is being danced for community as we enjoy triumphantly. Yeah. And now we would like to welcome you. As you could see, different steps. All you have to do is follow the leader as we invite back our gong players to join us and play. Before that, we have our last ceremony, ritual.
As a part of the dance, we pose for the community or tribal leader to offer a drink for our God Kabunyan and for us to continue our celebration. And then after that, he will say, "Oh, why? Oh, why?" Then everyone will answer, "Woo! Woo!" And then after that, we resume with the dancing. It's a call to celebration.
Once again.
Okay. Ooh, Kabunyan, here is a rice wine offering for you. Come join us and our ancestors in our happy celebration. Oh, I. Oh, I. Shall we do it again? Oh, I. Oh, I. Let us continue with our celebration to our dances. Thank you.
Hello, hello. Thank you. Give it one more time up for Mabika's Foundation. Thank you. All right. So you can, if you like, sit, but you can also remain standing because I know for the next part, maybe you don't want to be sitting. I don't know.
No.
So
You
I
don't
want to ask
want to
forward Ibu and friends to come to the stage to introduce themselves. And with friends, he doesn't mean only his friends that he maybe knows by name. Today we're all his friends. Please give it up for Ibu and friends.
Africa.
Check, check.
Hallo, hallo, hallo.
Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Microphone. Test, test. Check, check. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Oké. Dank jullie wel, we zijn klaar.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. Do you have, I mean, when I asked Ibo, I know Ibo longer, he's a friend of mine as well, and I asked him, I mean, I don't speak Wolof, so I have to ask it in an English language, but what is djembe, playing djembe for you?
Ik kan wel Nederlands praten, maar ik heb geen koffie nu. Daarom mijn Nederlands is een beetje weg, maar geen probleem. Ja, djembe is my life, you know. Because of djembe, I take djembe like education, you know. And when I was in Senegal, I have, today actually I have a very special guest. It's calling Maestro Okesen. Applause. Thank you. Yes, yes. No, actually because of him, I have some good inspiration, you know, to play djembe. Because, you know, in Africa, it's something like if you are not on the tribe of a griot, you're not allowed to play djembe. And me, I'm not on this tribe. Okay, well, you know. And then from there, I just follow, you know, the people who play on the street and stuff, you know. And yeah, I follow love with this instrument, beautiful instrument. And then, yeah, now I'm here in front of you and play. Thank you, but I'm not very good with the microphone, but today I, you know, do my best because of my lovely friend. Yo.
Goedenavond, dames en heren. Dit is Ibu. En hij woont hier in Amsterdam. Als je interesse hebt met djembe les of workshop, je kunt altijd Ibu bereiken. En de maestro, Sheikh Andy. Yes, thank you very much. Dank jullie wel. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Ja, je mag afsluiten. Ja, all right. Sluit af.
Thank you so much for your presence. Thank you so much for your time. It's an honor having this done for you, for all of you. So I see you all Saturday, I hope. I hope. And the fundraising is until January. So I think the final results needs to be shared, the final results, and then we're going home. So first of all, let's have the final results.
You caught me by surprise, but I will find it.
Oh, I know, huh?
1 second. Internet. Tension is rising. We have 1,700 euros. So that means in one day we're on 17%. That means the following days and weeks you can take your flyer. The QR code is the same. The system is the same. Talk to your family, your friends. You know, you can help us to reach the full 100%. Thank you, everyone, and see you on Saturday.